time, we do have a couple items to change on the agenda. The first, we need to add the ASCAT license renewal for the Colonnade. We'll do that under the last item, administrative fiscal matters. And Chad, if you have a change in one item.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's a modification under administrative fiscal matters under item exhibit number 5. Instead of proposed approval of agreement with Kinder Morgan for gas line relocation, it should actually be proposed allocation of SPLOST funding from economic development SPLOST proceeds to fund the gas line relocation in the district.
Do we have any other changes to the agenda? I have a motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
Second. All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
And it is approved. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 4th meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor of approving the February 4th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
This time we'll move into appearances. Mr. Matters.
J. George Battersby, Patty Road, District 4. I went to the Economic Development meeting last Tuesday, which was open to the public. There was only 3 of us there, unfortunately. But the meeting lasted for 20 minutes. Then we were asked to leave. The executive session took place, which was another 20 minutes. Then we were called back, and then the meeting was over. No opportunity to speak out whatsoever. At least here we get to sign a form to speak, but there we can't even speak. Also, I get very leery when I see land acquisition. There was a land acquisition in the executive session here at the last meeting. There was land acquisition at the economic development meeting, and there's land acquisition on tonight's. I get a little scared because of the last piece of property you bought without telling us. I think any land acquisition needs to be voted on and run by all of us. And my next topic is Mr. Long recently mentioned on TV about some regulars that were making remarks that were unfounded. And it was, I guess, to do with the T-Splosh that you all lost, where we were like insinuating builders had a big part in it, which they did in the financing of it. I ran by the election commission last week and got some public information. And now we don't have to wonder why we were leery of the T-Splosh. I have, and this is on Mr. Long, I will read the others as they become available. But his first contributor was Randy Kemp. This is public information, was $125. There was 2 individuals that I'll assume are friends of his, so I won't read their names. Then we go on to Doug Yates Towing Services, $500. HAS Construction Company, property developer, $500. Holly Construction, $500. Allied Underground Construction, $500. Brainerd Motorsports, the drag strip, $200. Wildfire Developer, $250. Jackson Dodge, $500. James Anderson Construction Builder, $500. James Wright Construction, $500. BCAA Incorporated Concrete Sales, $500. Rick Honeycutt Coach, $500. Shane Hood Trucking, $500. Jeff Mullis, State Senator, $1,000. Troy Potter, Developer, $1,000. Kistner Construction, $1,500. Brown Brothers Construction, $1,500. LJ Investments, $2,000. LJ Investments is a LLC. A lot of these people, they have so many companies and LLCs, it kind of throws the public off. L&J owns 26 properties in that name alone. God knows how many they own altogether. But And for those reasons, I would like Mr. Long to abstain from voting on any zoning issue. And also, I'd like Mr. Henry to recuse himself because of past business or present business, but I know past business with one of the developers that's trying to get some property zoned tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Ware?
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, gentlemen. Mr. Ware, Nick Ware, from Key Community, Catoosa. I'm unscripted, guys. I mean, I'm telling you, usually I've got a script, right? I'm unscripted, so watch out for the loose cannon, right? It's gonna get wild. It's gonna get wild, right? You know, there is some concerns, some issues that I have from the video type, or having to view or having to go and purchase videos for being able, the public being able to see them. We have discussed this with the chairman. I think that you guys are going to be working on getting that. I think with the new software that's coming in, that's going to definitely rectify all that.
Where we started post today.
Yeah, they're big files, so it's taking us, we acquired all of the ones from UCPD, so tomorrow afternoon or Wednesday, they'll all be back.
So they'll be on the Catoosa County Commissioner's website.
So those will be there until the new software, I can't say.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but I appreciate that. Thank you for interrupting me, and thank you for the information. That is awesome. That's a good deal. One of the things that I can move on to now is I just have a concern. You know, I know that we all love and enjoy the sports atmosphere of our community, and we have all the ballparks. And as we talk about the ballparks and all the things that's needed, I can't help but to know that gentleman who came up a couple of meetings ago, maybe it was the last meeting, who was part of Transaid and talking about the buses and needing another vehicle and so on and so forth. You know, looking at the general fund summary of expenditures that we have for the 2020 year that you guys approved, we cut their funding, Transaid, by $73,935. But with recreation, we increased that by $73,285. You know, I think a lot of our children, I have children myself that live in this community, but I also know that there's a lot of aging adults and there's people with disabilities in this community that need that help of Transaid to be able to make doctor's appointments, to be able to go get their medicine, to pick up prescriptions, get groceries, things of that nature, right? So I think that as we go forward in our budgetary means here, that we understand that we don't need to take from one generation to give to another, but we need to share in that, right? Make sure that we are looking after our seniors. Make sure we are looking after those adults with disabilities and those who can't afford to be able to travel, to go get their stuff, you know. Transaid is important. It's important to me, and I think it's very important to the community. I do see that in the budget here that we have contingency in general government of $250,000. I think that might buy a bus. I think that might be something that might be able to buy a vehicle for Transaid, help them out. You know, if we're going to take from them to give to the recreation, maybe even have the recreation do a fundraising for Transaid. You know, just bring that back up. The Transaid is very important. It's very important to those people in this community. And I appreciate you gentlemen for your time. Thank you.
Keith? Fairchild? Keith, step outside. Or did you want to speak, or do you want to speak on the zoning case?
On the zoning.
Okay. Thank you. I'll say Linda Johnson, same thing. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Vanessa J. Carroll.
I'm District 4. We have tried for 20 years to get Memorial Drive paved. I have a copy of court records here that prove when Nancy Esslinger subdivided her property. She put in the plans that she was going to have the road paved and curved, and it was going to be a mobile home subdivision, not a mobile home park, which is why me, my mom, my husband, and my mom and my stepdad purchased property in that. We don't live in a trailer park, we want the mobile home subdivision. And so, from there, she said she didn't have the money to pay it, so of course Catoosa County took her to court. Well, turned out Catoosa County dismissed charges from her, so they took over the case. I have the court records here, I'll be glad to let y'all look at them. But if you want a copy, I'll have to pay for them in the court, just like I did. It says that Catoosa County will be responsible for paving our road, and yet we're in our 25th year of waiting for this road to be paved, and I'm very upset about it, and our whole community is upset about it. We're supposed to have a two-way road with curb and paved, roads, and we don't. We don't have. We just now, the last couple of years, have mail trucks that will come down there. We used to have our mailboxes way up on Lake Road. The last couple of years, we just now been able to get our mail down by our houses. The buses have to travel down that horrible road to pick up kids. We have a special needs child but the bus has to go down there. I can't imagine what damage is being done to the school bus, or even the poor bus driver is trying to control that school bus driving down there. But all that doesn't even matter. What matters is the fact that Catoosa County has stated they will do something about that road, and they're not. My millions and millions of phone calls have gone unanswered. The first probably 20 years, I've been told that it's not on the docket, you can't afford it, SPOS can't afford it, all this. And now that I find out that Catoosa County has a paving machine, again, nobody's doing anything. I think the last couple times they brought some leftover concrete, paving stuff that's put on the road. The first good couple rainfalls washes it all away, and again, we're left with just trash, hose. And again, that's beside the point. We want it paved, it's supposed to be paved, and we want it paved. And I think that's only fair. We've been up with it for 25 years, and fair is fair. Y'all have said you will, and it's time to do it. Thank you.
Moving on to administrative business matters. Caitlin?
Hi, the rec department recently opened bids for various uniforms and equipment. 6 vendors provided us with bids, and we are seeking to approve to award purchase for various equipment from those various vendors. The funding will come from the 2020 rec budget.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have any questions?
Galen, just out of curiosity, how many children have signed up so far?
We have 582 right now.
582.
Yes.
What was your goal?
It was 500, and so we still have about 3 days left for registration, and it's picking up from yesterday to today, so I think we'll hit a 600 mark.
So we're getting positive feedback from the
Yeah,
parents?
very, very positive, exciting, it's a, kind of, everybody wants to be a part of this new transition, and we're getting a lot of buy-in right now.
So reducing the rate down to $50 is helpful.
Yes, very much.
25
For 25, and then families that have multiple children are getting a $5 discount on for each registration after the first full registration. I have had phone calls where parents even say that that's even expensive for them. So I think what we're doing and the track that we're going on is going to be very beneficial moving forward.
Any other questions? All in favor of approving, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Yes.
Skipper, that's all right.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here today to get approval for the resolution to adopt, for the adoption of the 401A defined contribution plan. The resolution will adopt the ACCG 401A defined contribution plan for Catoosa County employees. The resolution will merge the Catoosa County pension plan into the 401A plan and also amend the ACCG 457 deferred compensation plan. So that's what I'm here for.
I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Second. Do we have any questions for him?
It's a great plan.
Yeah.
ACCG will be quite beneficial for
Yes.
employees.
Yes, that, to give the opportunity for the employees to actually sit down with somebody and kind of figure their path to retirement, where we've never had that before. So it would be really good for the employees.
Appreciate our department heads and staff too, for reaching out to the ones that wasn't on it, explaining, giving everybody.
Yes, we did get buy-in from everybody who wasn't on it before, so that was really good. And they did it fast, it only took us a few days to do it.
I think it's a great thing myself. That gives the people that spend the time here, you know, a future, even in their time.
That's right.
You know, this other one work, and you gotta have something in the brain to help you get through it. And I think it's a great thing.
I know we get old fast, don't we?
So,
And before we know it, we're like, oh my gosh, we're retiring, we don't have any money there. So this will be beneficial.
All in favor of approving, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, board members, the first item I have is a proposed approval to grant a utility easement to North Georgia Electric membership. This is for where the Public Works and Maintenance are relocating the fuel station used by the county from the courthouse out to the sheriff's department property, where it would be more user-friendly. And North Georgia Electric will be supplying power to the new fuel station, so they just need their standard hold harmless and easement agreement, right-of-way agreement, so they can put in their power pole and power lines.
Got a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor of approving, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Chad, next.
The second item is a set of formal policies regarding burial or cremation of individuals who die within Catoosa County who are indigent, meaning either they themselves or their immediate family do not have sufficient funds to bury or provide a decent cremation or burial of their remains. Georgia law provides that the county where a person who's indigent dies is responsible for providing for the burial or cremation. The county has always done this in the past, but we have not had a formal application process or formal policies to let management know to treat every situation the same. And essentially, the policies provide that if next of kin applies, they would sign an affidavit under oath that the individual who died had no assets, nor did his or her immediate family, and they request that the county provide the funding that's available. And the funding is $550. And that's the amount that the funeral home within the county would accept to perform a cremation. And the individual would not only have to sign this affidavit, it provides that if for some reason there was funds found in the estate, that the county would be reimbursed, and any funeral homes who participate in this program will agree to accept the $550 to perform the service.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, Chad? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Next, Chad.
And the final item I have is the one we modified the description on the agenda. In the 2019 SPLOST that the voters approved, $8 million was allocated to economic development. From that fund, the Development Authority is requesting that the board allocate an amount not to exceed $1.38 million to relocate the existing gas line that runs across the business park or industrial park property. When that property was purchased, we knew about this issue that the gas line kind of cuts across the corner of the property and bisects it and leaves a triangle out there. If you don't relocate the gas line over to the property line, you won't have as much usable developable property. So the Development Authority has been in contact with the gas line. They have the gas company, a specific process and procedure they use, their contractors, their engineers, to relocate that line. And this request is just for a portion of their SPOS funds for that purpose.
Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Do you have any questions? Now, this is allocated in 2019 SPOS.
Yes.
Was something that's planned on being done. It was something that we planned on having.
Correct.
On this property here, you know, the way it's set up, is it right down the middle of the property?
No, it's not nearly that. I wish I had a map to show you, but they have one, Alicia or Keith Bartlett, it'd be really across the kind of the south corner. That property, for all of us that live here all our lives, I believe the Bandy family lived there. One time there was an old house that we had to tear down, and they angled that line over so that, I guess,
It went around that house.
went around that house, and that's why it kind of went that way years ago when it was put in. So it's just on that one corner. It'll save you from, by relocating, if you left it where it is, you'd have about a 1 or 2 acre little triangle, and otherwise you move it over, you can get that 1 or 2 acres back into your whole big parcel.
So this could be detrimental for the future sale of the property.
Yeah, it's going to maximize the available land you can use for development projects on that side.
Melissa, you want to do a roll call vote?
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Commissioner Cutler?
Yes.
Chairman Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden? This is the item that we added to the agenda.
Good evening. I'm here to ask for renewal of our ASCAP license. That's the license fee that we pay annually to the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers for use of music throughout the county in our public buildings, for background music on our phone system, for hold music. We have to pay a licensing fee for each year, and I'm just asking for that renewal.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
You have any questions? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
This time we will move on to our zoning cases. James? First case will be 1313-9.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The applicant, Emerson Russell, Lee Parkway Property Trust, has requested the properties be rezoned from A1 to PUD. Mr. Russell has requested the rezoning to develop a 98-lot subdivision on the property. The Planning Commission met in regards to the case on January 28th and approved the case 5-0 with the following conditions. There shall be a 50-foot building line. They shall build single-family homes only. There shall be a 10-foot side and 25-foot front setback. There shall be no access to lots that front North Avenue or Sutton, with the exception of lots 94 through 98, as shown on the site plan from CTI Engineers that was submitted to the Planning Commission on January 28th. There was opposition at the meeting.
Do I have any questions for James?
James, on the package we have, it says 93 through 98, right?
94 through 98, lot 93 has an existing home on it.
Is there anyone here that is against or
Phyllis Williams, and I live on Steel Road. And first of all, I am not against contractors, and I'm not against building. However, we've got a board that should be watching out for us as the public about the homeowners. All of y'all know where Steel Road is. And Walker Road, when you go down Steel Road to turn into Walker, you have to go on the other side of the road nearly to turn into Walker Road and to turn out. There's a four-way stop not far from there. But my problem is, we have got bad, and nobody's complaining out there right now except to their neighbors. So I'm gonna complain to you. I've never asked this board to do anything on my property. Don't want you to, I'll get it fixed myself. But I think you people as public officials should put a moratorium on building, especially where you're overrun right now. They're building all those houses on Steel Road that runs into Max Smith. Well, we thought they were gonna be for sale homes that people would move in them. We go down the road, and guess what? There's a for rent sign out there bigger than my house. And we thought they were gonna be a subdivision of homeowners. We've got to make sure as a board here that y'all do the right thing for people that are already there. And I would implore the Commissioner of District 2 not to vote for any more building, not about the builders, it's about the buildings that are damaging other people's property. Thank you.
Phyllis, was that development that you're talking about in the city?
It is in the city.
I'm just making sure.
It is from the church, right there from the church where that little white house is. From that part, Mr. Abercrombie's property was annexed into the city. And I will tell you, in your defense, the city has lousy planning and zoning. I mean, lousy. If you want to get right with it, go out there and look. Them houses, they could spit from their front porch into the middle of Steel Road.
So James does a better job.
James does an excellent job. Yeah, we want to keep James, but no, Fort Oak Courthouse, lousy inspection. Thank you.
They would lay the map, having it up.
My name is Elizabeth Hayes, and it's not that I'm against building and going up Catoosa County. My problem with the development on Sutton, North, and Walker Road area is the width of the roads. Sutton is 17 foot, North is 18 foot wide, and Walker is 19 foot wide. The problem with that is you've got a school at the end of Sutton, and at the corner of North, which is Westside Elementary School, you've got traffic there. You have now flag lots that are going to come out right across from the school with this development that he's proposing. And nobody is addressing the road widths and what to do with it. We've lived there, my husband and I've lived there 23 years. My husband's lived there his entire life. Sutton Avenue is still the width it was when he was born, which is 17 foot. So I'm saying that I would like you to really, really seriously consider what you're going to do with those roads before any development is considered on this property, because it's going to cause a congestion area, which we already have with Lakeview Drive, Cloud Springs, and Max Smith. And Steel Road over there, as she pointed out, but I don't go down Steel Road that much, so I'm not going to say anything about Steel. But I live off of Sutton, and it really is a concern to me about how this is all developing, and nobody's addressing the infrastructure of the roads that have to handle the traffic and the population that you're putting on them. That's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you for taking time. Is there anyone else here that'd like to speak against? You just want to talk again. Did you move?
I didn't know. Nick Ware, I live on Keith, but I don't live close to this. But I have been out to this area and I have seen the narrowness of the road. I live in a community that the road is narrow, and that it's on a dead street. knowing and understanding that the development that continues to happen in our county, I'm just concerned, like with her, with the infrastructure that's in place, right? But also with that sewage infrastructure. Eventually, those lines and pump stations and lift stations that's there, those things are going to have to come into play as well. Because the more flow that you're putting on the lines, that outflow, what these residents would be moving in, contributing to that. Eventually, that's going to have to be something to consider as well. And I don't know as far as the sewage infrastructure for that area and what that looks like and how that's going to match up to what the development is. But is that something that you guys take into consideration whenever you're doing that? It is. I mean, as far as like the sizing and all that, I mean, the lift stations, it's adequate for the lift stations. Okay, all right. So, well, that's good to know. I mean, that's good.
New sewer over in that area also, which they calibrate when they design them for the pump stations and all. There's a huge pump station out on the end drive that doesn't period for many years.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know. I appreciate that. That was one of my concerns. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Mr. Russell, would y'all like to answer a couple of questions?
I'm Ron King, CPI engineer.
Emerson Russell.
Gentlemen, y'all have any questions? My only concern is in that area is, I know we're trying to run roofing for roads and infrastructure and stormwater and all that. We're just approving the flat to be approved for a change. But, my concern is down the road, we're going to have, like I say, like you're saying, the roads are very narrow in those areas. We're going to have a few of the homes coming out on those smaller roads, North Avenue and North and Sutton, I'm sorry, off train thought. But I personally drive those roads every week, in my business, and I know there's times where I have to pull my truck over to let people buy the mailbox in their hand over. Same way it is on Walker Road. I mean, it is 20 foot wide, but that's for small impact cars. Smaller cars you can get by. But if there's a big truck pulling trailers or whatever, it's tight. That's my concern is the flow of traffic. Going from Steel Road off of North Avenue towards Steel Road, it's so dangerous pulling out of that road right there. It's very dangerous when you're putting 98 homes in there. That's just going to make it even worse, in my opinion. I mean, how are we going to? I've seen the plats, but I still have to visualize how it's going to improve. How we're going to improve by moving from one road to another. That's why I would ask.
Trying to relieve some of the traffic on Sutton because of the school area. But five lots on Sutton, that's the widest part of Sutton, right there by the school. So really shouldn't have a real impact on Sutton. They turn and come back to north and go back toward Lakeview Drive. But, we're trying to redivert the rest of the traffic away from the school area primarily. That's one of the biggest considerations.
Well, and on one of the 5 lots, there's already a house on it. We're talking about 3 or more houses that will be coming out. Like he said, that area that they'll be coming out on is wide enough to meet county standards.
I just have concern about it, when they are all developed and how people want to work, in general, maybe people in the area, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on that. So I was going, ask, like pulling out on Steel Road, eventually that probably has to be around and that's, down the road, that's county, like fixed, and I'm just, that's why I got the questions, because I just see it's going to have to happen. Because I run it, I've traveled a lot over there, and I have a lot of concerns for people, safety. That's my biggest thing. And I know we're not here tonight talking, we're really voting on that
Mr. Russell, do you have any plans down in the future? Because like Commissioner Stevens said, tonight is just to approve someone's request. But in the future, do you have plans to work with the county to maybe enlarge or widen those roads that are narrow?
Haven't made any plans, but, you know, Thad Hunt and I donated about 1.5 acres, 2 acres of land, put that roundabout in up there at Steel Road in Max Smith. Okay? So, you know, we try to work every way that we can with the cities and counties to try to make it good for everybody. It's not just a one-sided situation.
You ever have James come up and kind of explain where everybody will know the process of, so y'all never be, y'all say that down.
James?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I just see where everybody will know, especially in the audience, the process of what's happening tonight, then that can come up and how the roads come into, everything's laid out.
So, this is just a rezoning request. Just a step, basically, in the development of property. After, you know, whatever happens tonight, just say rezoning is approved, that's kind of where the real work starts as far as my department goes. We'll work with the engineers, various county departments, the road department, fire department, and work with the engineers for the developer. If there need to be infrastructure improvements outside of the development, as far as roads, the road department would, you know, let them know at that time. Soil and erosion plans still need to be done. As far as erosion control plans, they're reviewed by the state. And then we also have a third-party engineer that is not a part of the county that will review for stormwater concerns, Georgia Stormwater Management Manual compliance. So NRCS, they review the erosion control side of things. And we have the Blue Book review. After all that's done, plans are looked at, look at utilities, have to look at fire hydrants, flow rates. There's still a lot to do. This is just one step in the process. And nothing is signed off on until it meets county specifications and any additional stipulations that the Board of Planning Commission put on the development. So part of our Unified Development Code is there's a road ordinance in there. And if there's substandard county roads, then the road department gets involved and they may be required to be upgraded to meet county specifications or county widths. It's a lengthy process. It's not something that happens overnight. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, for everybody. Thank you.
I want to thank you, James. James met me out there. We looked over roads and we have a couple other issues we're looking at. I appreciate your patience with me.
Yeah.
All that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak about this particular case? Sir?
Yeah, my name is James Hayes. I live on Sutton Avenue. Been living there my whole life. We keep talking about roads. When they put the sewer system in, we asked them then to widen the road. It wasn't in the budget. Okay. So now we're talking about adding 98 homes up through there, and we're gonna back up, and then it's not gonna be in the budget to widen it again. If I pull out on Sutton Avenue, my 3,500 diesel, and a school bus comes, somebody's gotta go somewhere. Now, we're backing up now, And we're saying, well, we will work with this, or we will talk about this, or we will do this. Let's get the answers as to what we're gonna do with it before we build it. Then we can all agree to it. But until then, there ain't no way. I can pull out my Nissan, and if you come down there with a 1500 Ford, we're touching the edges of the ditch. And there ain't room for it. Once the budget is set up to where the road's gonna be widened to specs, I think y'all said, what, 21 feet, something like that? Once it's that wide, then we say, yeah, let him do what he wants to do. But till then, I don't see where we're doing any of this. Appreciate it.
Anybody else like to speak? No, not sorry. One shot. Oh, one shot? I apologize. Oh, it's okay. I just wondered how much it costs.
The guy before me was saying,
Expecting that.
Ron Ford, I live in District 4. Who pays for all of this? When the road is always done by everything James said, and we all know that, we've heard it and heard it and heard it. But when all that happens, I know you're just going to change the zoning. If all that don't happen, you're not going to unzone it, because it stays zoned. But my question is, like everywhere else, the plans are great. What James said is great. What Mr. Stevens' question was great. Who pays for all that?
Under what James is talking about, development, that's very good.
So the developer pays for all that, where the taxpayers will not pay for it?
That's the rules that we have in place. Correct, James?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Comments? James, you got anything to add?
I don't know if I'll be out of line or not, but we have a current development process right now where it's on a substandard county road. And before any building permits can be issued on that site, he's got to upgrade that road to meet county specifications. So I'll tell you, I won't issue a building permit on, if it's a substandard county road, my office can't issue a building permit until it meets the lot widths, or the road widths.
It has to be operated the roads, because that just a road.
That's something I think will be discussed in the planning process. The department will need to be involved, and this is just a rezoning request.
We just wanted to know. Anyone else like to speak? Thank you. Y'all have any other questions? Melissa, would you do a roll call vote?
Commissioner Stevens?
No.
Commissioner Cutler?
Yes.
Chairman Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
No.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Next case.
The next case is case number 1322-20, rezoning of tax map 28, parcels 169, 171, and 172 from A1 to RTZ. The applicants, Alexander and Cheryl Smith, have requested the properties be rezoned from A1 to RTZ in order to build an 87-unit subdivision on the property. The Planning Commission met in regards to the case on January 28th and approved the case 5-0 with the following conditions. There shall be a 40-foot setback on the lots along South Wood Road. A privacy fence or buffer shall be incorporated on the north side of the property, and a mail facility must be incorporated, and that's per postal regulations. And there was opposition at this meeting as well.
Who would like to speak in opposition? Mr. Harris, y'all? Whichever one of y'all like to go first.
Linda Johnson. I live at 207 South Layton Road. First of all, let me tell you guys, I'm a realtor. I know what business is, but I'm also a school bus driver. So I can have insurance because I'm not old enough for Medicare. So I'll see both sides. But this has been my family's land that's next to this. And this is a very narrow road. You live close, every one of you drive it, I see you. Every one of you live close to South Layton Road. It's a little bitty road with a lot of activity. You're taking that road from Pine Grove Road, cutting through and going to the mall continuously. Going to East Spring. I live it, I don't even back up out of my driveway. I turned around. I'm the first house that's going to be there, right beside me. I leave out of my house at 5:30 every morning to go to Catoosa County to get on my school bus. Do you know, there's mornings at 5:30 I'm sitting there waiting to get out. Because other people are going up 41 Highway to get to work. Drive it. How could it be approved without it being seen what this is going to consist of for this little tiny road that's going to, I can't cut through and go up to Dead Man's Curve and take a left. I'll get killed. I've seen too many wrecks there. I've lived there. I know it. From Indian Springs to South Wooten for 59 years, I've lived in that area. Okay, so what am I going to do? Go down Haggard Road and try to get out on 41? I can't go Graceful Road. It's a disaster. And you know it, every one of you. And I know about the roundabout coming and all that. There is too much congestion in a little bit of property. All you have to do is travel. Don't take my word. Most of you are in this area. I know what subdivision you live in. I'm driving for your kids in the neighborhood. So I know there's a lot better roads than Wheaton Road. It's very southward, very little. When you live in a house that long and now you can't even back out of your driveway on the road. Something's wrong already. And when you want 87 homes, I heard they want them for the elderly. But who's to say what if the elderly don't buy them? Are they going to just sit there and not be sold? I don't think so. But I have it from both sides. I have the business side and I have driving the school bus side. And I think I know the area very well. And y'all do too. I know you do because you live very close. So you need to consider that. Y'all say you zone first and then you make all this stipulation. The people deserve to know the stipulations before they're made. Once you zone, it's zoned. It is zoned. And there's been big real estate deals that me and my company has lost money on because of zoning. And I know what it's like. But I also know the other man's side that owns that property next to it. I know it. You have to know it to realize that the little person that I've been there 59 years and I've paid my taxes and I drove that little narrow South Wooden Road for about 20, but before that it was my aunt's. And she had no children and took me in. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm very concerned, what are you going to have, a red light? I mean, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? You going to take one of them houses down in front of me to make a red light come out to Pine Grove? Last week, I was on the bus, about had a heart attack. It's all over the radio. Do not travel Highway 41 and Pine Grove Road at the highway. There's a severe bad wreck. Okay, there was. It knocked down the power lines, knocked down everything, okay? Here I am on the school bus. Can't use my phone and worry about my family. The week before, you can check the police reports, just check them. As you pull out South Woodland, that little tiny road, and you got all this traffic on 41 going toward East Ridge, wanting to take a left on Pine Grove. Okay, here you are on South Woodland already blocked because of Pine Grove Road, taking a left. But there was a wreck there last week, 2 weeks ago. Check it. Check your police records. See what's going on. Because I know the traffic, and I'm all for doing good and building, but I'm also for the little man that has been there and paid the taxes and will travel that road and that mess of traffic that is coming. And it's coming. It's already there without it. Just travel, and thank you.
Mr. Chairman, is the rule 5 minutes?
Do we typically do 5 on the zoning
I thought we did, yes.
You're the chairman. Five minutes.
My name's Terry Bowen. I own property at 155 on South Woodland and also at 103 on South Woodland. We spoke with y'all last time down here. My question is, when the sewage come through up there, it stopped at this property. I've had 5 investors in the last 3 days call me about buying my property. And every one of them has asked me about the sewage. And we was told back when it stopped there at my Uncle Carl Ray's, where the property's been sold, there was not enough houses on South Woodland for it to be feasible to run the sewage on up. I know Mr. King built a few houses at South Woodland and Luton, and he put the sewage in there, or tied into the sewage that y'all put in there. My question, with all these houses coming, are we gonna get sewage on up South Woodland? Because I feel like it's hurting my property right now. What y'all fixing to do? And then I don't have the right to sewage because it's not coming up through there. And like I said, out of 5 investors that's called me this week alone, every one of them, the first thing is there sewage out there. And I'm with the lady that spoke, the traffic flow. Everybody says it's going to come out on 41 highway. I just don't see that. We have a lot of people that leave the subdivisions from Graysville Baptist Church on up Woodland Road there. It'll back up in the curve right there every morning, going up the hill. So they cut down South Woodland. Now we have a flow of cars running 90 miles an hour. I don't know where the police department's at, but we have a flow of cars running through there all the time. I won't even let my grandkids come to my front yard. And that's the truth. If y'all live in, I don't know if y'all live in that area or not, but just come down there and you're welcome to sit in my driveway. I mean, it's terrible in the morning time. People running late, and now we got all this other. I'm not here to bash this man or tell him he can't build. That ain't my business. He buys the land, does whatever he wants, whatever y'all allow him to do. My concern is the flow of traffic. And are we going to get some? I've lived there 12 years in this little house, this at 103. The road ain't been paved in 12 years there. Potholes ain't been fixed in 12 years. Janky records. What the water company comes out there and digs up, they fill up the potholes. That's it. I mean, we're not getting nothing out of this. I feel like we should, as community on this area that we've lived there for, I've been there for 5 generations. My family has. Miss Tootie, Miss Johnson, her family's part been there 3 generations. We're not getting nothing out of this. You know, I'm not saying where it's benefiting us. And then my last question, and I'll stop. If I sell out, are you going to then I come in front of you or whoever, and you're going to tell me, well, no, we can't put no more homes there because South Luton ain't going to take the flow? You know, I mean, I don't look like I'm a winner here. I mean, my dog ain't hunting. You know, is it feasible for one man to build 86 homes there, and I can't sell out and build none, so I got to take a cheaper price for my property?
Unfortunately, the sewer, the county doesn't run sewer anymore. I think years ago, Skip, correct me if I'm wrong, the city, Ringgold City East Ridge took over the sewer system. So that's a question I cannot answer on the sewer.
Well, will it be his responsibility to, where my knowledge of it, it stopped in the front yard of this property, that he bought, of the old home place there. That's where it ended at. 'Cause we come to everybody, called everybody we thought we could call, and asked, because everybody was wanting sewage on the South Loop. And everybody was telling us there's not enough homes up there for it to, you know, pay off or whatever. I guess to get y'all's money back, county's money.
Cities.
Well, city's money. Excuse me.
Again, the city doesn't have sewer. I mean, the county doesn't have sewer, the city does.
Well, is that gonna be I mean, are y'all gonna push that for it to come on up through there, or?
I don't know what their plans were, their plans, honest. But I don't know, I can't speak for the city. I'm in the same boat with you, I'm never gonna get sewer either. But we're here for a zoning case.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just, it's just funny, wherever the sewer ends, that property settles. That's been our experience down there. It's not that I want to sell my property. It's not that at all, but I want to be able to get the same amount and the opportunity that property has. You know, I want something to make my property go up in value, not go down in value. And I guess that's it for me, and I appreciate y'all's time. Yes, sir.
We have one more right there. You have 3 times, you finally got it.
I'm Keith Fairchild. I live at 215. My property actually borders this property. Can you guys want to see the map here, where my property is? Well, I've got a great concern since I had livestock. I have children. We've been there for 20-something years. My wife's family's owned it since the mid-60s. Back in 2011, we tried to adopt the DP strategy 123, a amendment to establish an agriculture buffering area of 1,000 feet of agricultural land. The applicant would sign a waiver that indicates he understands, acknowledges agricultural land exists near the subject property. So you wouldn't have any problems with sight, smell, or vision. And also, community participation in plan development. That came from Catoosa County as well in 2011, community agenda. Creating a functional comprehensive plan begins with defining a common vision for the future development of the community. A community vision is the overall image of what the community, which I'm guessing our community is where we're living at, wants to be and how it looks at some point in the future. It doesn't say what the planning commission, the zoning commission, whoever wants it to look like. It says the community. And the last time we were here, we had 75 people sign the petition. We have about 15 or 20 this time. I really didn't get any more signatures. I honestly, until yesterday, and I walked my property and looked at that property, I thought, I just felt beat the last time I was here. It just felt like the good old boy when those guys were up here the last time. The guy in the middle approved it, and he builds everywhere in the county. And I just felt beat down, just like I had lost. And just looking at it yesterday, I thought, man, I just don't want to give this up. I mean, we bought that. You know, I volunteered at Ringo High School, FFA president. You know, we have kids come down there. We've got FBI, county that comes in there and shoots a lot. And we have a good time there. The guy next door zoned it for agriculture because he was going to use his property as agriculture. And we've stayed there because Terry's been there. Before that, his brother was there, had agriculture, had mules, had horses. We've had cows, we've had chickens, or have chickens, pigs, turkeys, and, you know, and hopefully, in the next 2 weeks, the state is supposed to pass the hemp bill, which hopefully my lower 4 acres will be planted in hemp. I have all the permits so far, and the governor, of course, said that by the 26th of February, it would be approved. And I don't know who wants to smell that and cow manure every day, but it's just going to be a constant complaint. It's going to be noise violations. You know, last week my cow actually did get out on that property. I've got 3 bulls and 1 in heat. It's not been great. But I know the county has another statement there in their agenda that they want to push away any RTZ zoning. They want to stay with residential. I don't want RTZ, I don't want residential. I don't want either one, but neither one's going to be good. I don't want 89 houses next door to me. That's going to be a constant complaint. I don't want 10 houses next to me, honestly, either. But I really, you know, I thought about it, and I thought, well, if he's building that, maybe, you know, talk to him, maybe he could put an entrance in on the bottom of mine that would tie into my property, you know, in a couple of places. And I thought, well, I'll just sell mine out and move somewhere else. That's the point that I'm at. I don't want my kids there. All those houses, that's not why we bought it. We bought it because Alex, who I don't know why he's not here since he's applied for the permit, number one. He sent his representative, or the guy wanted to buy it, Sherwin. And, you know, my family, the family before that, Terry's family owned that whole thing at one time. Until someone died and they had to split it up, and they split it up in 3 parcels. I have one, Terry has his parcel back, and then Alex bought that parcel and some additional property there. Alex then moved because there was too many people walking off the freeway close to their property, what he told me. But I don't want any more cars on the property, coming down the road. Like Tootie said, we have to actually turn around and pull out of the driveway. It's either from kids to the, you know, services here in the county. They think that's a drag strip. I don't see, I mean, if you look at 89 houses, you times that by 2. Because most people, maybe in their 60s, are going to be married still. They're going to have 2 automobiles. Grandparents are raising their grandkids now. My son has just recently moved into or his girlfriend, moved into a place in Alabama. They have 100 and something small homes there for the elderly. He told me yesterday, half or more are young people. So it's not just elderly, they're not going to go anywhere, they're not going to suck up the school or anything else. That property, 19 years ago when we bought it, the guy that appraised it said that he was having a hard time to find 12 acres in that area that's not been commercialized. You know, you not only have mine, you have Terry's and the property next door. I mean, I just hate to see it zoned for that. If you look at Fort Oglethorpe, the school system is now number 3 there because of, I mean, there's so many, you know, apartments, lower income came in. You know, are they going to rent them out? You know, I just don't want it. I hope you guys see it. Like I said, this is a community thought. You know, it's not. I know what's good for the county. The county wants more more taxes, more everything, that's fine, but, you know, there's a place for everything, and next door to me, and, you know, I'm sure you get a lot of people that say that, you know, there's hundreds of acres, you go down Alabama Highway, thousands, I mean, it's just open down through there, just a brown book. But I guess that's about all I have to say. I hope you guys don't approve it, or anything else, but thank you.
Anyone else here against? We'll bring it to the meeting. Mr. Price, you have with you?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mike Price, and I can introduce Sherman Smith. Do y'all gentlemen have a copy of the proposed site plan? Not pretty. So if I might, Mr. Chairman, let me give a little bit of background information. You've heard some action please here, but let me give it a little bit of background information. So this is oriented towards an age-restricted community, some 87 units. And so the price point of these units is going to be somewhere between $210,000 and $220,000 out of this. The thing that you need to understand, though, about this particular development is it is intended to go towards age-restricted, so it is looking at one of those 55 and up. Sherman has built over the years and sold to that specific market. I know there was discussion from Mr. Fairchild, who indicated that maybe his daughter had seen a different experience in Alabama. Well, here, Mr. Smith has found during the course of his career, he sold over 250 units to those who are 55 and up, targeting this particular market. There is a market in Chattanooga and in Catoosa County, and it's been proven, for instance, developments like Applebrook, which Sherman developed. So that's a perfect example of one that is, again, age-oriented at the end of the day. There's discussion about traffic quite a bit. So first thing to point out is that the entrance to this development is within 300 feet of Highway 41. So you've got direct access to the major road. This is not having to travel the back roads to get there. You've got 300 feet. As James Davis had mentioned earlier, if there are any requirements as it relates to doing any road upgrades, that will be part of the planning process, the engineering process, and we'll take care of that along our entire frontage. So it's not like we're not going to be paying attention to those particular items. We will address the needs as made aware, and before we work through the engineering process out of this. This development has a clubhouse and an amenities area, walking areas that will be through here. Now, again, if you listen to some of the issues that were brought up, let me sort of try to hit some of these in regards to what this plan is. This is a definitive plan. This is not a zone, and then we're going to go figure it out later. This is the plan, the 87 units. If you want to restrict this to 87 units, we're good with that because we looked at this particular property, we've taken into account the topography, we've looked at the requirements as it relates to what Catoosa County has, and we can make that work. So if you want to set that as a number, we're perfectly fine with that because this is not a plan that we're sort of thinking that we might can do. This is the definitive plan out of that. Now, there was some discussion as it relates to the agricultural uses around this. Let me first say that what we will do is we'll put a disclosure statement on every unit sold that states that those that are purchasing lots, that there is agricultural uses that are in the area. Therefore, you may have smells, you may have barnyard animals that you hear, and that's okay. We're perfectly fine with that. I don't think that we have to worry about, though, the reverse being true, that this is going to impede or destroy their way of life. Again, we're looking at 55 and up, and that's one of me. And, you know, my days of screaming and yelling and carrying on and gallivanting around are over. I think pretty much that's what we find for those of us that have sort of reached that point in life and hopefully got a little bit of more maturity out of that. Mr. Bowman mentioned about sewer, so let me sort of touch on that for a second. We will be extending sewer to the development to serve this site. We will also extend easements to any other properties that they'll have the ability to tie on to.
So we don't have a problem showing that we in good faith are going to be extending sewer easements to our neighbors. We're not here to cut anybody off. We're not here to try to devalue anybody's property. If they can tie in that sewer with what we would extend over and working with staff, they have the perfect right. We're happy with that. We're not trying to stop them. We're not trying to encourage them. But if that's something that they feel that they need, we certainly can provide that. Again, I would point out the fact that we're within 300 feet of Highway 41. Traffic, again, for 55 and up, we don't travel as much as those because we typically don't have the children that are there, that we have to take to school and back, and ball practice and all the other places. So we actually, what we find is these type developments put less demand on the school system, less demand on the traffic. You're not getting into the peak hour in the AM or in the PM because in those particular timelines, these people are generally not working, or they're towards that point of life where they're only getting out at the time that is not adding additional traffic because of their children. So due to those facts, we think that these are all indications that are indicative of what you would want as it relates to development and not put the stresses on your infrastructure system that some of the people have raised concerns over. And so if there's any questions, we'd love to help answer those as we stand here.
Price, over on the sewer, does it come in here from 41 in, or does it come in from?
It's sort of located, yes, working its way sort of south of us on 41, and we have the ability to tie in where it runs sort of on the south end of the property. So we would be able to work and extend that up through there to our neighbors to the north.
And you know, I didn't see anything, any of my paperwork, on Loop Road, do you know what the width of that is?
I prefer James on that, but I'm thinking we're in the 20-ish range, thereabouts.
I think 22 to 24, but
According to Jeremy's records, it says it's 20 feet. The width of the road is 20 feet. I don't know, it may widen in some areas, but what he has on his notes is 20 feet.
But again, we'd be happy to, take care of widening that out to the minimum county standards or whatever.
And that's what I was going to ask on that. Like I say, I think most of them go out 241 there. There be issues of doing any widening right there. You know, seeing it out 241.
Correct. We would do certainly what we can, including there at the intersection with 41 as part of that. We've done that with other developments here in the county.
Not really, I like the 55 concept, we had a couple of those come through here. I really like them. My issue is, I have been down that area, and whenever I get a zoning case like this, I do go out and drive it around 8 o'clock in the morning, I drive it around 5 o'clock. It is incredibly congested out there. And this is not your fault, it's been this way. It's only getting worse. That's my concern, and that's a concern about it's not.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to echo what Mr. Harris, Commissioner Harris just said, that people use South Loop Road as the cut through. They cut through from Loop to 41, and even though this is a senior citizens type development, there is still going to be that traffic combined with the people that are cutting through the ones that, I've also been out here and driven through it, and it's a very narrow road. And I agree with one earlier, it's very hard to get out on 41.
You do.
This will just add to the congestion of that area.
Okay, if they ever finish the split, we get somewhere traffic.
Well, I think there'd be a couple of things, is once the work is done at the I-75-24 interchange is taken, that's gonna make a tremendous difference as it relates to people taking the back routes. So, it's not gonna solve all problems, not even claiming that, but I do think that in terms of other infrastructures that would be improvements taking place, those will be in addressing those issues. But, to your point, there's still gonna be traffic added, but what type of development do you wanna see? If you took this and let's just say you put in 50 homes, we're gonna reduce it by almost half. I will tell you, 50 homes will generate more traffic than this. And so you end up with less density, but more that if you were to go to a single-family development of roughly half the density, you end up with more traffic coming out of this than what you're proposing here.
Me personally, I'd agree with you on 55 and over road, that's a no-brainer. But that road is very bad. I lost many miles probably since I got in here, I promise you. And I do use that road as a cut through. Pick up, I do my service there on that road, and I'll be honest with you, I wear yellow protection, and I've been almost run over out there before. And, when you're put in this amount of homes, that's beautiful. I mean, everything here looks great, but we gotta come up with a better infrastructure, in my opinion, than what we have. And that's the only concern I have. I'm all for, it's beautiful. I mean, there's no doubt, all this paperwork and all that. I really am concerned for the safety of people there. Like me personally, I've almost been run over there. And I live there. I live here off Alabama Highway, but, that's my point of it. And it's a great area. But it is congested and it's dangerous. And I can just only imagine with that many homes. And I know they don't get out very much, but I mean, get real, the 55-year-old, they get out and do their thing too.
Yeah, I'm not saying they got one foot in the grave.
That's not much of the 20-year-old, but they do get out.
Yeah, Ken, and to reiterate earlier, as the developer and bring this case before you, we're certainly willing to help you guys with infrastructure and improving roads along the front of our property and how it needs 41 highway. We want to do our part with the part adjacent to our property to help your infrastructure. We can work with James and the road department, and Brian Campbell, his department, and make that section of the road the first start and maybe benefit the whole community there with us doing our part in front of our development to make both the entrance into the development back to 41 Highway and back to South Loop and on over to 41 Highway. So they go really
Is there a way to square it as, property way it goes right there? Or is there a way to square that Queen Road? We don't be willing to help with that?
The only way
to do it with that corner.
Yeah, what I would say is this, the answer to the question at the end of the day is you can make improvements to the intersection. However, the curvature as you come into it is less than ideal. And I wouldn't argue that any other way. But what would need to probably take place at the end of the day is we could give up some right of way and do some improvements in through there at the intersection. But the angle is always going to be working against us. So I wouldn't want somebody to think that this is going to be serve-all answer at the end of the day that solves every problem at that intersection. But yes, you can make improvements. And the other thing I would point out, it's no small price tag when you're widening out, some almost 550 feet of roadway. You've got to start somewhere on your infrastructure. This would be the first start, and it's not in the middle where it benefits no one. It's at the very beginning, Highway 41. It starts that leg again. And then as some of the, maybe Mr. Bowman or some of the others that were talking about selling their property, well, there's your next leg, the next one. So that's how you end up making those infrastructure improvements, getting to the point where South Loop Road is a road that's got the proper width that you're looking for to meet your county standards. So you have to start somewhere, but you want to start on the right foot. This is the opportunities I see it where we could make those improvements there at the intersection and then continue them on so that it's set up for the next party going on, or if they don't, then the county at one point, if they so decided that it required it.
Good you look at this, I'm saying, good to be brought up. This is here.
I think the other thing, so one of the things that I would see here that we might want to look at is the acceleration lane on 41 to get you slowing down to hit that turn coming on to Southfield. Okay. And again, that was probably something we would have discussed with James out of that, but slowing that traffic down so when they make that right turn, they're not, right now the way it's sort of set up, you sort of want to weave into your other lane. That would help with that by putting in that immediate acceleration lane there at that point, and then making those road width improvements along South Loop as well, works in terms of being able to provide the proper passing distance so that you don't end up with someone that is coming in the opposite direction. But backing up on the South Woodland Road or any other road, to me, that's not what we're going to solve. That might have been what you could have done 40 years ago, but it's just not the way that we can proceed forward as it relates to being to address those issues today. We certainly have a certain amount of traffic that none of us experienced many years ago. Catoosas experienced quite a bit of growth. So, but we think we can address many of those issues.
Any other questions? Y'all might have to say.
Thank you for your time.
James? Y'all have any questions for Mr. Curtis? Have a motion to approve or deny?
Well, I'll make a motion to deny it. Second.
Commissioner Stevens?
Now, wait a minute. The motion on the table is to deny it, so if we vote yes, we're denying. Okay, just to make sure.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Commissioner Cutler?
Yes.
Chairman Henry?
No.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
No.
Thank you. Thank you. That time is our last case. Can I get the room quiet, please, before we wrap up? Are there any commissioner comments?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you for coming out and hearing about your government, your county, love the county. Just wanted to go over a few things that, I've been noticing things on Facebook, and I just want to clear it up about our recreation. Our recreation, we came together as a board here, and I'm thankful for all these guys that are doing this. We consolidated our recreation from, there was a volunteer type things, and the county takes our tax dollars, and they actually over the years have given these recreations a certain amount of dollars, and we're grateful that, we all came together, worked together, and now we came together as a unit, and now your tax dollars are being given, through our county recreation, and they're overseeing everything that is being spent and accounted for, and we've heard over the years, and I've been a coach, and several of these guys and kids have, and, play ball, and we all play ball, and there are a lot of concern in this county for kids not being able to play ball because they can't afford it. And we wanted to do this and use that money that, that taxpayers use to try to, get back to our youth and our future. So that's why we dropped the prices down, and, $45 for the little kids, and then we got $50 for all the others, and that's an all our sports here in this county. And I'm grateful that we got this accomplished, because it's going to be good for our future, of our children. And I just wanted to, and they are some kids out there that still won't be able to afford this, and I understand that. And I want to do everything in my power to make sure that they get opportunity to play, whether they have $25 or $50. Because, I'm grateful my parents could, work to give me an opportunity to play ball. There are kids that I grew up with and never got the chance, and they wish they did. And in our communities now, we've got drug problems, we've got all kinds of trouble. And I feel like with this right here, it's a start. That's how you keep kids out of trouble, is you keep them busy. And so I'm committed, and all the commissioners are here on our future of our children. And we are concerned for our adults, as well, our handicapped people. And I just wanted to you know, this stuff's on my heart, I want to speak to y'all tonight about this, and I hope y'all understand that we are, that I personally, and I know they are too, we are looking out for transparency and accountability of tax dollars in this situation. Because all the other years, we didn't have, I mean, nobody had a clue where that money went, where it was spent on. We did. But we got it under control now, and it's going to be a great future for our county. And I thank you for the opportunity to serve, and I hope I'm doing half the job